Oh, I forgot to hit the what you told me to do. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, our inbox or someone inbox is on here.
I'll be more prepared next time. I'm ready now. Peace and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Yananomics podcast, Teach Me Tuesday. Welcome, Nzima. Oh my
Welcome.
goodness, thank you so much for being with us this evening for Right to Heal, to Unmask, to Own, to Bloom. Thank you so much. Created
Yes.
and facilitated by Miss Nzima Hutchings. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. I feel really excited. Feel very
Good,
much
me
heard.
too.
So how are you doing? How's everybody out there in the Facebook land?
Yes, how's everybody doing? Please tell everybody a little bit about yourself for those who may not be familiar. And did you want me to keep my camera on to be more interactive, or you'll
You
let me know when you're ready for me?
can maybe we could just go on a speaker view and you can stay on.
Okay. Oh, speaker
Yeah.
view. So that's something I need to change?
Let me
Oh,
see. What do we
okay.
have?
Let me view my options here.
At the top right. Let me see. Yes. So yeah. So this is exciting. I love this platform. Like you got it going on. And look at
Oh,
your boo that had
thank
a baby,
you.
showing us other folks that you need to be doing better.
Uh, really? That's what's up, girl. That makes me feel excellent because I'll be over here like I gotta get my shit together. But so it's good to know that, people are feeling like I'm really doing my thing. That's what's up.
Yes. Wow. So this is my second time being on your show and I am honored. I have fun. The last time we had fun, we had a great conversation. So in the field of writing, still, this is a little different. And I'm excited. So I hope that folks that tune in walk away with inspirations and little tricks to put in their toolbox for healing, unmasking, and blooming. So certainly I'm just going to give you all an overview of what it is that you can do, pragmatic ways to just exercise, things you can do yourself and or participate with the expressive writing coach with me. And so before we get started, again, my name is Nzima Hutchings, and I want to say thank you again for this platform. Listen, you got it going on. I see your future
Thank you,
lineup,
sis.
and I can't wait to see the future lineup of everybody else. So everybody, if you're watching, stay tuned, keep watching.
Yes.
Um, she got the best going on. So the every kind of so the every kind of lady mission is I got a whole paragraph up here. So I'm gonna read it because I didn't memorize it, but I know it because I enact this mission like it's my fingerprint, my DNA, my everything. So the Every Kind of Lady Company mission is to strengthen all women and teen girls' uninhibited voices, to practice whole person wellness, to advocate and offer emotional equity access to Black, Indigenous women of color, as well as to provide empowering literary productions, workshops, publication guidance, and diverse platforms for women from all backgrounds to practice active acceptance. So you're going to learn a little bit about active acceptance. The Every Kind of Lady company will use a variety of writing forms, therapeutic journaling, I can't talk, and sensory art mediums, teaching women to use writing as a healing tool, build a literary legacy, and produce innocuous spaces for women to share their narratives. So with that mission, today you will witness pieces of this unique, innocuous space. This is a safe space. It's a diverse platform. It is live. It is on social media, and it will be accessed in the this podcast. So stay tuned and keep your focus on this screen, and hopefully, with the takeaways, you will be able to practice. And I'm hopeful, and I know you can. So I am an expressive writing literary wellness coach. What that is, I help people use writing as a healing tool. You heard my mission statement. I'm a best-selling author. Yes, I can say that. Okay, it wasn't my mission, but it happened. I'm an award-winning poetess, community advocate, mental health first aid, sexual assault crisis counselor. It says BIPOC, which I'm really a Black, Indigenous, women of color, emotional equity advocate. I work with men, but it's not my go-to. But I'm there for you guys too, not to leave you guys out. I'm here for the women, but you can participate and you can use these tools. I'm a visionary, CEO of Harper's Lit, sole proprietor of the Nzima Sensory Essentials, and visionary and curator of I Am Near Project, a project named after my daughter. And so, of course, I'm the visionary owner of the Every Kind of Lady company. So here we are. You still with me?
I'm
Empress?
here, sis. I'm here. I'm just making sure I let people know, and I'm just welcoming them. I can't speak tonight either. To the podcast and everything. In the comments. So, but I'm here, girl. I'm right here.
Okay, because my screen don't allow me to see you right now, so that's why. So.
Oh, really?
I don't see you. So maybe I have to do something special. Okay.
My mic is off, but I'm here.
Okay, great. So we're here to learn techniques or to see what you can do in a pragmatic way, practical way, to use writing as a healing tool, an outlet, a release, to unmask, to own your truths. Did you hear me? I said own your truths. We don't give an F about all the F's. Okay, you have to own your truths, own your narratives, your story, accept every part of yourself, as well as to find a way to bloom. So earlier I said I was award-winning author, poetess, and you should be confident enough to say things like that. No longer should we be ashamed to toot our own horn, to feel confident enough to stand where we belong or own that space. But to bloom also is an internal thing as well. So it doesn't have to mean material things. It could be a source of happiness, a source of self-care. So finding your happy place and writing in a journal. I took this picture, I would say, well, the season when the sunflowers came out, I want to say July, August. And I took this picture, it was a sunflower patch where it was like a whole big to-do thing. And I chose to embrace the whole scene and to flaunt the colors that makes me feel good and to do the things that make me feel happy. In other words, self-care. You see me with a quill. I have a quill. I have a yellow quill. And if you can see me, Empress, do you see me? Because I want to know if anybody can see what I'm holding up.
Yes, I can see you holding the yellow quill. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I use the color yellow for a lot of things because my daughter wanted to rock yellow to her prom. She had passed before she was able to go to her senior prom. And so to remind me to wear yellow for her or to rock yellow for her, I, do little things like find my happy place. It's not so happy, but is a memory and I hold on to it and it makes me feel good that I'm honoring her. My first book is yellow and other things are yellow, but it is my happy place to journal with using yellow pens and quills and little odd things. And with that being said, my happy place is writing. I write to heal. So if you like going out to parks, if you like cafes or whatever, find a space to journal there. Find a place to bloom. A lot of times, if we have internal things that we're working with, it is a good idea to find what make you feel good. Connect to those things and shower yourself with that. Be spontaneous. Go to a sunflower, to the ocean, go to wherever, whatever makes you happy. If what make you happy is sitting in your car or parked in a somewhere where no one can't find you, if that's what make you feel good, then that make you feel good, and you might want to record those moments in a journal. So that's what you see me doing. So what I'm sharing with you all is practical things that you can do to heal, write, to write your story, to participate in the exercise of writing to heal. Here's a workshop. Look on Eventbrite. Look on Facebook. Look up activities. Connect with me. Find out when workshops are happening. And a lot of times I'm offering free workshops. I have paid workshops and I have some free workshops. And I often offer free writing workshops in Hartford or Mount Holyoke College, and about 3 or 4 times a year. So get in and yeah, another place to express yourself and have that hard conversations with other sisters. So you will find that in that space, that safe space, you're able to realize, you come to a realization that you're alone, that you're not in a space alone. You'll hear other stories. People will start to share and they don't care. They walk away. So as an advocate, a sexual assault crisis counselor, as an advocate for the Trinity Health of New England, as an author and a poet, expressive writing coach, I use my talent, I use my gifts to help women, girls from age 14 and up to write through their trauma. And this is a picture of me, and you see in the background, there are pieces that the young girls had put together to express their pain. Or some of them feel shame and it's no fault of their own that they were sexually assaulted. And I have to tell you, as a sexual assault crisis counselor, as a person who sits in a room and actually facilitate workshops and hearing stories, I then too needed self-care. It triggers me in different ways. And so I need to self-care. So if you find yourself in an environment where you are being the helper and you're using your talent and your art, because I know there are a lot of artists in this space, make sure you self-care. So this was a magnet poetry, and it says, it is easy. The directions is here. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it says participants use magnets, words to create poems, which we photographed and we hung up. And we also use found poetry and blackout poetry. So you could just take some magnets or cut out words from a magazine and start to just put together and express how you feel. This act is a mindful act, is a mindful, creative way to share, to release. We are like this bubble, and sometimes we just need to pop it and let some of that stuff ooze out. Okay, so you might say, well, I'm not a poet. You don't have to be a poet. There are other forms of writing. Some folks are into writing memoirs, autobiographies. Some people just like to write narrative, write their stories using the narrative form of writing, where you write the beginning, middle, the ending of a story, and where it makes sense. You're not using a whole bunch of metaphors and similes and all of that stuff like poetry. Um, there's internal monologue writing, mindfulness writing, expressive writing, which we talked about at the other workshop, where it is a 4-day process where people would write out a certain situation for about 20 minutes per day, to write out their feelings from where it begins, not necessarily where it actually begins, but where they want their story to begin. And they use a form of stream of consciousness, where they're just writing, bleeding on paper, and anything that's popping in the brain, you're just jotting down nonstop, writing for 4 days. And at that point, after 4 days, about 20 minutes in your alone space, you're looking to come up with a perspective, maybe a new perspective. Okay, so that's an expressive writing workshop. But I just wanted to, people might say, oh, expressive, what does that mean? They think art, But anyways, so any form, keep it simple. Tap into what works for you. I host workshops where people draw pictures, or they paint, and they might write 1 or 2 words on a piece. And that is what they needed to do, to release what they needed to do to let it go, or to own it and put it to the side. The effect of having something written down on paper is so that way now you have something tangible. And some of us choose to burn it in the bonfire. Some of us rip it up, throw it in the garbage. Some of us keep it in a journal and do something with it, like publish it. Keep it simple. Yeah, that's me. I'm going through a lot of things in this picture, right? Artfully tell your story. And I say use poetry because, well, and it don't have to be something you perform in front of other people, but when you perform it in front of other people, it becomes a public space to scream and cry. And I realize it's kind of like when you take those selfie pictures and you make like those ugly faces, like really ugly faces, or you have those candid shots that just look like wild, and you don't care and you post it anyways. It's kind of like it's like owning your space, owning all the different phases and spaces and movement and emotions you have. Not so much so with, when you're taking pictures and you're having a good time, but I find a release in poetry. There are times I'm screaming. There are sometimes I'm crying through the whole poem. So artfully telling your story using poetry, you're able to lace it up with metaphors. You don't have to use the first person language. You can use second person. You can use the moon, the stars, animals, whatever, to scream out what you want to scream out. The emotion, the passion behind it will help someone understand a thread of or a theme of what you're doing or saying or pointing across. But it's not so much always for them. It is for you to release. Again, become a public space to scream and cry. Now, you can choose to scream and cry like I do in the car, in the car, and I scream my brains out when I feel really stressed because I need to open up my diet. I need to open up my stomach. I need to scream, and so I feel like I can breathe. When I'm overstressed, overcome with grief for grieving or whatever, and that's okay. But I share this with you because I own my truth, and I want you all to start owning your truths. Understanding sharing your truth help others to release what they have bottled up. So sharing your truth helps to release what you have bottled up, and indirectly you give other people permission to do the same. Another practical way of sharing, releasing, owning, being immortalized. You take that story that you wrote. It could be a poetic story. Your life is poetic. Your ups and downs, a birth of a baby, whatever it is in your individual, unique life, like nobody else is doing your life. Okay. It's your own. You own it. It's your thing. You know it better than anybody else. And you can express that story. You could release the mask that you might be wearing in your stories. And you can write it any way you want, be it sci-fi, speculative fiction, and you're telling a story. And no one has to know is you if you feel like, it if you don't want to be flat out with it. But there's a purpose to being flat out. You could put out, release it, and walk away. Dust your shoulders off. Keep it going. So submitting to anthologies, I accept annual submissions. These are a few of the women who participated in my annual submissions. I am accepting submissions now. Okay, so I was a nut. I was watching the countdown. I the top 100, and my number one spot has moved to number 3, and then they get, as days go by and time go by, your numbers drop. But I found it cool to see other titles next to like who I'm rocking with. That's cool, right? So imagine you submit your story, a poem, a piece of you that will be immortalized, sitting on a shelf in libraries way after you're gone. Your written legacy, collecting dust, smelling moldy, or print into digital form or whatever, here forever, ever, 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 and ever, right? Imagine that. And it was just a piece of you and a collection of work with other women. I published 31 women, and their stories are out there. Their creativity is out there. Their truth is out there. And my gosh, it's an edgy truth. And I love it. So I feel like I was in a company of some sisters. Healing and blooming and floating fluidly. Okay, so I am different and I love it. And I am exercising my uniqueness and participating with other people in the community. I am helping women to float positive affirmations to keep their thoughts fluid, flowing forever in a metaphoric way. Now, 95 years ago, someone had put a message in a bottle. Yes, they put a message in a bottle, and guess what? It was found. You can Google it. It was on CNN. And I was like, oh my gosh, could you imagine you put a message in a bottle? And it's an easy thing to do. You have an old wine bottle or Coca-Cola, old-fashioned Coca-Cola bottle or whatever. Or if you don't drink soda or wine or anything like that, there is someone that do. Ask them for their bottles. Use cork so that way it can lock it in without, damage of water damaging the messages inside the bottle. And go to a canal or ocean or river. Use friendly materials in the environment and have fun. Have fun. Like, someone trusted that their message was going to reach where it needed to go. They floated it and they walked away. That was an affirmative act to do something with the idea of faith that it's going to happen. Drop it and you walk away, right? So have fun. I hope, yeah. If you do this though, you're gonna have to let me know, Empress, know, because I need to know how you felt. People tell me all the time, oh, I want to do that again. I do mass floatings. So I collect glass bottles and I gather with a group of women and we do it in a ceremonious way. So like, how fun is that? And you can do it yourself anytime. I wouldn't advise putting your bottle in like a low lake or something where it just kind of end up wherever. To put it somewhere where it would travel and it's just out there. You never know. Someone might find it or it might float for another 100 years and you done forgot, or it might find itself a owner. Someone find that bottle and they needed to hear those positive, blooming, affirmative words that you released.
I think we're going to have to collaborate on something when it comes to that. I would love something like that. I think
Oh
it'd be
yeah.
so good, especially I'm over here by the water. So, yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes. So I
I know
will
you
talk about
love
that
it.
later.
You are blessed. You wrapped around water.
Oh yeah, I'm literally on the water over here. Yeah, it's pretty
Wow.
wonderful, but we'll get to that because I definitely want to follow up with that.
Okay. I'm with it. Yes. Anytime. Yes. That's I love it. And also like I watch those like medieval movies. You ever see like the act of people put their little message on the bird? I'm like, what? They trusted that? Is that true? Like how that bird know? Like crazy stuff. But guess what? Life, you get one life like that of. We got ideas that we might come back and be whatever, but right in this one, in this space, in this realm, in this now, in this nowness, own it and have fun. Like do stuff that just it's just fun, and own the work. Corny, quirky, different. Own your stuff. I own mine so much so that one day I decide, you know what, I'm gonna print it on a t-shirt where it says rocket on your chest. So someone said, oh, I like that shirt. I want to, do you have that shirt? Do you sell those shirts? I said, no. Because what's on this scroll, I said, well, this is my, my company, part of my logo. But what's on this scroll is unique to me. I am a loved lady. I've been an abused lady. I've been a broken lady. And hell, I've been a savage lady. People probably wouldn't believe it. Spiritual lady, a surviving lady, prolific lady, grieving lady, and blessed lady. And some of this stuff is present and some of it is past. And some of it, I think the grieving lady and some other things will be ongoing. But I own it. It's life. See, I rock my Ankh earrings. And you see my little, I have a mannequin in my room. So I have my mannequin standing there. And I dressed it up with my t-shirt and it has a yellow hat. Well, the mannequin doesn't have a head, so the hat is like sitting on the neck part. But yeah, I own that story. People want to know about it, so you got to read the book. Or maybe we have a girlfriend night. And some people I don't give access to me. I'm just like, hell no. I'll tell you if I'm ready. Listen to my poetry a little closer or whatever. But this is me, and I already said enough. You can try to figure out if you want to. But yeah, I rock it on my chest. Now, I have an exercise. It's a little 5-minute exercise, but because we virtual, and I don't know if folks are equipped with a pen and a paper, a notebook, or something to participate. And it might be hard to follow if you think and you might miss something. So I'm going to downsize the 5 minutes to maybe like 90 seconds, where you get maybe 2 or 3 words down. I mean, not 2 or 3 seconds, like 1 minute. And 1 minute you would not believe, because you already know who you are, what you can write in a minute. So normally in this exercise, I would tell people to write for 5 minutes, take pen to paper, write nonstop. Just don't even use a pencil, because a pencil might crack and break your train of thought. Just get a nice flowing pen, okay? And I mean, you can text it to yourself. That's fine too. I don't know, maybe a fax texter. But the idea is to continue owning your story. Now, we talked about owning your stuff, right? So my stuff was on a t-shirt. Some of my stuff. I mean, I have, what you see here is a puzzle. I sell puzzle pieces. So here's where you see like my little sign says, lady, make peace with your puzzle pieces. So I sell mason jars filled with puzzles, and people participate, and we fill up puzzle pieces and we put it together. And you can buy another puzzle. You can add more to the piece. You can write more than one word on a piece. And you realize that you are so many pieces, that you're a complex person. And that you don't have to be, identify as something that happened to you. But you could, it's just part of owning your story a bit. So that way you can let go some stuff and have real authentic conversations. And what I do know about having authentic conversation, especially with people in different generations, it debunked the older generations call the younger people stupid, or the younger people thinking the older people was just crotchety and never lived before. So I say that to say that in doing an exercise like this, you start to think, wow, okay, so if you look back to like age 13, you remember some things. You might have had a baby already. You might have been a victim of sexual violence. You might have been homeless, or you might have been without parents, or you might have been sneaky, a thief, or super studious, or an entrepreneur, right? So I say 13 because I think a lot of us remember some of the things we did at 13. But the idea is to start claiming yourself, to begin to unmask. And once you start to unmask with yourself, then you start to move that active acceptance. You start to, not active acceptance, you start to accept. And then you start moving into a realm of not having it weigh on you so heavy that you're afraid to share your story if it ever came up. You ever like run into somebody and say, oh, wow, how you doing? You look good. I remember when you was in such and such with me. And then you have like a look of panic. And you're like, oh, that was like 100 years ago. And and then you start talking about, well, I was married now, and I'm and blah, 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 blah. And instead of saying, yeah, but you don't have to set yourself up in a place and say, well, I was this, and so heck, I'm just gonna take residence at my space in my head and live there. Just understand that once you love every part of yourself, then you can bring things to the table. If you bring your stuff to a table and something is missing, like a leg, your stuff starts shifting, right? Because you're not dealing with it. So 1 minute, let's take 1 minute. If you have a pen and paper, so I mentioned about having a pen and paper. So if you have a pen and a paper, or if you have your cell phone or whatever, I'm gonna give you 1 minute to write the different people you have been in your lifetime. How many different hats have you worn? And just generate a little list. Write at least, I give you, write 5 things. Right here is an example of what it looks like when you start writing on a blank puzzle. This is not all my story, but I thought to put it there so that way nothing is safe. We don't have any safe words. Just go for it. You may start. You too, Empress.
Oh, I'm working, sis. I'm over here. I was right in when you were, giving examples. I've been right in and everything. So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to switch this view.
So yeah, if you're all out there in Facebook land, what we're doing, and if you're just chiming in, we're generating a quick little list. 5 words. Start claiming yourself to begin to unmask. When you own your truths, it gives others permission to own their truths. And sometimes we like to take responsibility of what we did at 15. I'm gonna need y'all to stop, or what we did at, I'm gonna need us to work at that. It's not always easy though. Um, traumas, the trauma brain is real, and that's why we do activities like this to help us self care in small, tangible ways. Where if you see a therapist or not, but these are daily activities that you can participate in, do yourself with a notebook and a pen, and just write stuff out. And be on your give no Fness. I don't give an F. We don't like that I said that I was a hungry person or I was a drug addict or a blessed person, CEO or broken, whatever. Just go for it. I think I've probably been like over 100 different kind of women in my lifetime. I think I've been a hater before. I think I've been um, depressed. I've been that that crazy mom that would show up to the school and sit in the classroom with my kids, make the teachers think that I just lost my mind. But I was that mom. You're going to teach my child, and you're not going to talk to my child anyway. I'm going to spend 2 weeks in this classroom. That will be my vacation. I've been that mom. So I'm just saying, we have been different things. Okay. So with that, um, keep that list and you could keep going on and on and on. That was just a little small little taste of what it feels like to start like reflecting. You know, ask yourself, do I hide a couple of the things on my list? Or do I compartmentalize? Do I keep it in a certain space and that I lie about it or I sugarcoat it or whatever? But remember, you own your narrative and you can put it out there as much and as little as you want to. No one say that you're superwoman, that you're going to get a star, that golden star because you put your stuff out there. There's no prizes. This is for you. Whatever you do is for you. Okay. So when we own different parts of ourselves, we begin to um, liberate ourselves. And some pieces don't look so sexy. It doesn't look so beautiful. So here's a quote to note. A quote to note, um, and I'm gonna explain a little bit more. A quote to note comes from a Japanese exercise, a tradition. So you see a picture of a bowl, and if this bowl was a beautiful bowl or vase or whatever that you had in your house and you broke it, you might say, "Oh my gosh, sweep it up, throw it away." You might even cut yourself or whatever. Okay, so in Japan, what they do, they take broken objects and they often repair it with gold. They repair it with like a gold glue or some kind of um, gold powder that's mixed, or they they put real gold or some kind of craft type gold image or whatever it is. Some people have more money, they really use gold. Some others just use whatever they need to use, but it's gold. So in Japan, they take their broken items and they fix and they repair the broken item with gold. The idea is that the flaw is seen as a unique piece of the object's history, which adds to its beauty. Consider this when you feel broken, or if there are pieces in your life that you feel like it was not so beautiful. Throw a little gold on it and understand that you are more than an object. And so radical self-care and owning and this act helps you to move forward with the idea that it was part of my history. We can't change time. Changing time is like um, totally impossible. You can't get back a half a second ago. Time is moving forward. Okay, so don't try to change it. It's part of your history. So why not own it? But owning it doesn't mean you have to put it all out there. Just own it enough that you don't become judgmental if you find somebody else doing the same thing. Own it enough that if someone else needs support, you are able to help support them. Own it where you can self-care and deal with the trauma. Okay? Or you don't repeat the same actions. Okay, so yes, I have another activity and I'm looking at time. So I think we're doing good. So I hope you guys are still with me. Um, so this is an activity that I do with myself annually. It's part of a reflection. It's part of owning what is important to me. Now, every January, I mean, people like to get into vision board parties or get into different things. This is kind of like not so much my vision board. This is an activity that is both owning and telling an affirmative. It tells me what is important to me right now, and it's purposeful. So this is an example of the different things I put together throughout a series of a couple years back. Some of these I ams are real current. So the activity is done annually, December 1st, and I write probably like 2 or 3 a day. Maybe one. By the time January 1st, I have like compiled a long list. And some of them are repeats. Okay, so you generate a list to give yourself that power. Be intentional when you generate a list of I refuse tos or I am refusing. This helps to, it's kind of like the when January 1st comes, you say, oh, I'm stop eating carbs, or I'm gonna drink more water, or you know how people say those traditions every year, every January 1st. Well, be intentional, not cliche. I said no cliche writing. Some people say punchlines and words that they think sound good. They post it on Facebook. Generate a list that's for you. That's in your own personal journal and work at it. So I'm going to share my list so you all can hear it. My list says I refuse unworthy validations. I am refusing negative and hand-me-downs telling me I'm too much. I am refusing to act like I am not enough. I refuse to travel down ending roads going nowhere. I am refusing to let anything stop me because I am flying with one wing. I am refusing outside access to my inner authority. I refuse to take my last breath swinging. I am refusing to play down what my womb can do for diversity. For diversity, I am refusing to let loud mouths mute my voice. I refuse to die a Black girl exhausted. I am refusing to give life to what no longer serves me. I am refusing to yield on screwing up expectations. I refuse anything that tries to have all of me. I'm refusing toll-free bridges being built on my back. I'm refusing to change my hair because it is too natural, too blacky black. I refuse to pacify any and all petty betties, and I am refusing to give up, taking up more space. This was intentional. These are a mix of what I've written um, over a couple years, and I put it together as an example for my workshops. Some of them are new, like the Petty Betty one. I I find myself extremely ticked, and I don't know when people are. I am that moves me. So everybody, I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress, and I don't like petty stuff. It's an old term. It came out as a catchphrase, but it still bothers me. Um, and I shouldn't let things bother me. And also, um, I thought that I was always finding myself fighting, like always part of the struggle of being part of, you got to be in front lines with that S on your chest. And I said, I don't want to be windmilling it to the end of my life. I don't want to be windmilling, that windmill with people fighting. I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to die exhausted. So radically self-caring is important to me. Resting, laying in my bed for a day, all day in my flannel pajamas, chilling, doing what I do, mind my business. And, I just refuse to be a Black girl dying exhausted and fighting and then throwing my fist up all the time saying, I'm out here on the front lines and I gotta fight, or I'm not validated as being a Black girl. I don't want to be that bridge. I'm not a crusader. I am here for supporting my people. I'm here for the love. And there's so many different ways to give tools for long-term care and to go against any kind of struggle. So with that being said, that is what I wanted to leave with you. And if before we go, I would like to invite you, Empress, to write one I am, oh, no, actually, one I refuse and one I am refusing statement. And maybe we can
Absolutely.
share and chat it. I'm gonna stop screen sharing.
Okay.
I thank all of you all for hanging out with me. I think I'm gonna have to write an open letter saying, "How can I get that necklace?"
Oh my goodness. I think this one came from Africa, girl. I don't know about that, girl.
Man, I'm gonna make this letter so juicy and so persuasive.
Oh my God. Write it, girl. Write it. I mean,
Oh,
shoot your shot. I'm just saying, shoot your shot.
okay, yes.
I am not mad at that at
Mm-mm.
all.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My glasses become so fingerprinted in.
How about now I need glasses? I use them to like watch TV, to drive. Oh my God. I couldn't even believe it. But I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to be all right with this. I actually need them. I'm embracing it.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm doing my refuse one. Okay. I'm done already.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Do you want to share or?
Okay, sure. Okay. I am more than what I could have ever dreamed.
Mm, I know.
And I refuse to believe I am not worthy of loving partnership.
I know that's right. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so like I loved everything that you said in the workshop because I think sometimes like I feel like this workshop reminds us of how powerful we are and how we're not alone when it comes to some of the things that we might struggle with and things like that, the things that we tell ourselves about who we are and who we're not. And I know that for me, writing has been fundamental in so many ways. And it has helped me to heal. It has even just the other day, I went to my journal and I was writing in that sucker. And I don't even write in it all the time, but I felt like there was something I needed to tell myself and remind myself of. And writing it, like canonizes it, like it brings it
Yes.
into fruition. And I felt like it was so necessary to like, because sometimes we engage, well, I'm just going to speak for myself. Sometimes I engage in things that I know over the long run won't be fulfilling, but I'm enjoying it right now, type of a
Mm,
thing. And I had to remind myself about the reality of the now and just enjoying certain things, certain people, certain spaces just in the now, and knowing
yeah.
that it's okay to release that and let it be what it is, type of
Yes.
a thing.
Right there in
So
that space. And that worked for you in that space. And it's always changing,
exactly.
right? It's always changing.
Exactly.
Our needs, our threshold, our tolerance, our needs, all of that is ever changing. We haven't stuck our foot in every sand and soil yet. We have not met every kind of person, every kind of lady we're going to be yet.
Right. Right.
You know, we'll be blessed if we can meet a lot more of those different ladies we will
Mhm.
be.
Yes.
And you are definitely worthy of a loving relationship. You're absolutely a great spirit, a beautiful person inside
Thank
and out,
you.
and your confidence it shines right through your skin. And
Oh.
you know, it's beautiful. And I would love to tell you that I have um this thing every Tuesday and Saturday. It's called A Breath and Page. It's morning pages.
Mhm.
It's not like a thing I made up. This morning pages is actually a thing. And I practice that early in the morning. I don't know if you know Narelle Thomas.
I do.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So we collaborate with that, and so she do breathing exercises, and we do stretching and breathing and positive meditating
Mhm.
affirmations, and I would give writing prompts or pieces, and we have also paired with having that morning page space so people are able to journal at the top of the morning. So today on Tuesdays is at 6:30 a.m. So we're at 6:30 a.m. and sometimes we might get one people or five people. Today we was like, what? We had person joined the space from Ireland with a heavy, thick accent. For them, it was 11:30. For us, it's 6:30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was like really cool. And but it's just a time to declutter at the top of your morning. Sometimes we wake up thinking we we have all of these things going on already. The best way I can describe it is actually Narelle and I talked about it, and she said, it's like the apps you have on your phone or on a computer. You think you're right here, and what's in front of you is what you're trying to focus on. You got to get to is the thing right in front of you. But all of those other apps you left open is running in the back of you, and it's draining you. So now you're like, I feel like the deer in the headlights. What's happening? You gotta start closing those apps, right?
That's an
And
amazing analogy.
right, and
Yeah, that's amazing.
that's what happens to us,
Mm.
and so we have to declutter. We have to dump, leave space for creativity, space to breathe. The daily mundane thoughts happens. Oh, it's cold in this house. Oh yeah, I gotta order oil, or I have to go to the grocery store. I need toilet paper. Whatever you think of these things,
Mm.
it's like a story reel that's running through you,
Mm.
and you're like feeling like you tiptoeing on broken glass,
Mm.
and you haven't even put your foot down to the floor yet,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, I gotta get up. Oh, 5 minutes, and so there's a grounding. We do grounding techniques before we step out in the morning. A little stretch, the whole drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth, everything. And
You're
then,
you're making me think about how the other day I was talking to Empress dad, and I was like telling him how concerned I was with the fact that she has this show that she watches like crazy. Like when she watches it, she just is into it. She's dancing, like she just is doing her thing. And it was funny because it's almost like we find more things to worry about, right? So when I'm telling him about like my worries about it, he was like, you were just saying how you need more space, you need more time, you need this, you need that. And now you got it. And
yeah,
that's a problem. Like, and it really it made me take a step back, and I had to reflect
yeah,
on that and how I need to just count my blessings. Like, I realize how hard it is sometimes to stay in an attitude of gratitude. Your
yes, and it's
mind gets
hard.
away from you, and your thoughts get away from you. Just the other day, and I'm grateful to have people in my life that help me put things back into perspective and help me to kind of get a grasp on myself and my mind
Uh-huh.
at times, because I be struggling sometimes,
Yeah,
and it's really a blessing. But yeah, like I mean, I struggle with, like you said, all these different apps being open, all these different thoughts kind of going on in my
yeah,
mind, and just remembering to center, to focus, and know that I'm good, I'm safe, I'm blessed,
mm,
and just making sure that I keep at the center of my life all that is real, like staying in the now
mm,
and not too much worried about what's in the future or what's in the past. Like just staying centered and focused in the now. And I think that writing does a great job of helping me to stay there, because I've used writing for so
yes,
many different things. And I've used it for advocacy, I've used it
mm,
for poetry to express myself. But like you say, like when you write and you own your story, and just like and I even think about too, like so many things are coming to my mind, but right now I'm in the process of figuring out, or working through rather, speaking all of my truth, right? Even the
mm,
things that are to some people, they'll look at you and like some of these experiences and some of these systems and things like that, they purposely try to make you not want to speak.
Yeah.
And you know, for fear or stigmas or whatever it may be. So basically, like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to shed all of the stigmas, all of the things that make
Mm-hmm.
me too afraid to speak, because there are people that are waiting for what I need to say. They're like, they're just
Yeah.
waiting for somebody to speak on these particular things, in a way that is brave, in a way
Mm-hmm.
that is owning your truth, your
Owning it.
story.
And you know, when you tell your stories, throw some embellishment on it. Say, you know what? It was
Right.
this big, you know.
Yeah,
You're gonna remember me. No,
exactly.
I mean, because once you tell your story, anybody got nothing to talk about. You already said it.
Yeah.
You
And
already put it
owning
out there.
it helps me to feel safe. You know,
Yeah.
ultimately, at the end of the day, when people have their own thoughts, because they're going to be people who have all types of thoughts about the things that I want to share about my story. But
Yeah.
I think it's time to set myself free, to set other women that look like
Amen.
me, other people that look like me free.
Mm-hmm.
And telling your story can set you free.
It can set you free like you never knew it before. Let me tell you, water will land down your throat differently. You're
Yeah,
like, ooh, like you start
yeah,
feeling it. You start feeling it,
yes.
and you control it. See, you own that narrative. You know exactly what happened. Somebody
Mhm.
tells stuff about you. And when we tell stories without even opening our mouths, people, they say anything about you. They size you up and say, "Oh, she's already ghetto because of her hair," or
Mhm.
she's already mad because her eyebrows is furrowed, or she's, you know, or she missed this because she dressed like this, or she whatever. I mean, people will, they will tell your story. It was Tony Cape. No, let me see. I want to say it was Zora Neale Hurston. They will. She said something like they will abuse you. They will do certain things to you. They will kill you and say that you liked it.
Yes, yes,
And you're like, what? So you
yes.
have to. So you let me get that straight. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be writing like Cicely Tyson. Like right now, I'm still Cicely Tyson. You did it so perfectly. You did
Yeah,
that. You did it. She lived to about 90,
yeah.
and she published her memoir, her autobiography, her memoir, whatever it is labeled as, and she died a few days after. So it came out. Just say it came out on a Wednesday. She had an interview about her book, her last interview with Gail King. Someone asked her, if you just had to tell the world, because you're 90, if it was something you wanted to say to the world, she didn't know she was gonna die,
Mhm.
a few days later, what would you say? And she just humbly took that because she know it was a responsibility for her and her narrative to say what she meant. And she just said, I I did my best. And it was so, I just wanted to hug and pick her up, you know, and say thank you. That's all we got.
Mhm.
That's all we have. And but she put her story, so you don't even have to write a eulogy. She wrote it. She
Mhm.
wrote her book for her, and then she passed away a few days later. That was boss. I was like, look at
Yeah,
that was
that's
boss
amazing.
timing.
Like, it's crazy. And you know, you were talking about um like the different hats that we worn, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was so important because sometimes the hats that we wear are exactly what stops us from speaking our truth, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
feeling like our truth is not valid or it's not important right now or it's not a priority or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whatever it may be. However, it's these hats that really develop the story, you know?
It's a
It
foundation.
it's a foundation for the story, like I'll share a few things that I wrote. I put foster child, teenage mom, domestic violence survivor, um, side chick, and I put like because you were speaking some truths that made me think about a lot of things in relation to my own self. When you
Mm-hmm.
were talking about a hater, because I've been jealous, I've been envious of people
Mm-hmm.
and things like that before, other women and their life and what they have, and but owning that truth is in all those experiences, all those hats that I've worn. I mean, mother, daughter, all these different
That's
things.
that's the real fist up, right?
Yeah, like it really has brought me to this place. This is why the Yananomics podcast exists. Because of
Mm,
these hats. It's why Onyx Restorative Justice exists. It's why
mm.
everything that has come out of me exists. Like it makes me just want to hold on and pull those who share my experiences, or it doesn't have to be the same exact experiences, but the experience of muting your own voice for
Yes.
fear of owning your
Judgment.
story.
Yeah.
you
Listen.
know that's why this exists, and I am truly appreciative for what you bring to the table, Nzima. Like
Thank
what you
you.
do and what's coming out of you naturally, because like sometimes we don't realize how important something is into our life until we've been introduced to it.
Yes.
And this platform combined with what you bring to the table is introducing people to sides and um of themselves that maybe they didn't realize existed, and
Yes.
another avenue for healing that maybe they didn't know existed or was valid, or whatever it may be. I'm gonna write my story. It's I actually plan on writing like a guide for other
Yes.
people who might be interested in learning how to advocate for themselves, how to speak for themselves, how to find their voice. Not exactly what you're doing, but similar, because we're all healers.
Listen. There's enough sunshine for everybody,
Yeah.
and we don't have enough. We don't have enough.
Hmm.
We need you. We need your story.
Hmm.
Thursdays, the first 3 Thursdays every month, first, second, and third Thursday every month, I hold a writer's workshop, 2 hours. I have um, people with a year subscription, or they pay as they drop in. Some of them I have people pay for sponsors for other people to come in. I invite guests to come in, and we just write. I give a writing prompt and we just write stuff, and people go in spaces where they want to. It's different than the morning pages on the
Hmm.
Tuesday, Saturday morning.
Hmm.
Tuesday at 6:30 in the morning. Saturdays at 9.
Right.
Saturdays at
Right.
9:30 in the morning. But Thursday nights at 7 to 9. That's what I do in collaboration with When Women Speaks. And it's it's a space. It's there. Come. I invite you. Just come. Check it out.
I would love
And
that.
some people are novice, some people are healers, some people are, you know, they've been doing this for years. Um, and they flex, they write narrative, poetry, reflections, whatever. They just or they share a piece or they write a quote, or they
Hmm.
just share their feelings. I had this woman who write in Arabic. I mean, she write in script and all of that.
Oh, wow.
And so she just do her thing, and she like, this is what came out of that. I'm like, wow. But the Every Kind of Lady poem, I like to um, close out by saying this piece, because I think it's fitting, especially with the piece that you just shared. Because have we not have this conversation, sometimes we don't even know. We be touching and going. You know how many times I've been like, okay, I see the picture of my grandmother. She had a split. Oh, I swear she would have coughed. You probably would have seen her hoo ha. I'm like, woo! I was just like, Nana, like you the are you the same one that told me that your skirt shouldn't be above your knees, or are you are you the same one who say where you going with that on, child? You know, and I was
Right.
like, like you know what, but I see, wow, every kind of lady in my face, she just doing her thing,
Mhm.
she will share how like in different experiences, people will tell you what they need to do to keep the lights on. And that's it. And we're just gonna leave it there. I mean,
I know that's right. I know that's right. That's real. That's
that's
real.
real.
That's
That's
real.
real. That's
Mhm.
real. And when we move out of those judgmental spaces, oh, only then. And if
Mhm.
we're brave enough to rock our own beliefs, it's okay to share a space with someone else that have something different.
Mhm.
Because we come in organically. Now we can meet each other and move from
Right.
that square.
Right.
Right. So I do. Hold on, let me see. So I'm close. Ooh, 1 second. I am so excited about this podcast. And
Oh,
make
so
sure
you
you
be making me super excited, sis. Like I be like, oh my goodness, I know I'm like doing what is coming to me naturally, but your
yeah,
excitement really validates like where I'm going and what I'm doing because I'm always looking to make this thing bigger and better and greater. So I appreciate your excitement because it's like, oh, okay, like I feed off of it. So I appreciate that.
yes. I'm telling you, it's all like I feel it every time. I remember you recently posted some pictures. I had to share that because I didn't have some of those pictures on my Every Kind of Lady page.
Yes, yes,
You
from
know,
the
of my
ORJ's Weekend of Wellness.
yes. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, so I'm telling you, doing big things.
Oh,
It,
thank
this
you.
this piece, Every Kind of Lady, is a foundation of the company. And believe it or not, this is our 10th year.
Wow.
It was that I could really claim it as like a thing, a company. But it started a little bit prior, but I say 10 years solid. And it came from this poem. I sat there with myself and I made the important meetings. That's Every Kind of Lady motto. Make the important meetings with yourself and ink well. And no cliche writing. Although some things might seem like a cliche because guess what? There are a lot of things that happened under the sun before and
Yeah, that's true.
we just experienced it again.
Very true.
But so here it goes. And then I'm gonna roll out and I love you. So but check this out. Here it
Yeah.
goes. Constancy is an unfair brand of a lady. See, I think that I've been every kind of lady. Her and her too. The kind I didn't understand. The kind I feared, envied, yet I revered. The kind I might have shamed or wouldn't claim. The kind of lady that I gotta be. Yes, even that girl. Her and her too. The kind I couldn't stand or even forgive. The kind of lady that both lived and survived. The kind I grieve. The kind of lady I pray heavily to be. The kind of lady I gotta be. Yes, even she. So that's that piece. That's where the song come from.
I love it. I love it. That was beautiful, Nzima. I appreciate you so greatly for like agreeing to not just do one workshop, but two workshops. I appreciate you so, so, so,
Thank
so
you.
much. And you
I'm
are
honored.
spreading so much love and joy to the hearts of many, sis. Like you are helping so many of us really remove the barriers to self, right? So that we can express and we can share and we could tell our stories without fear. And I appreciate you. Like
Thank you.
100% thank you. I
Thank
think
you.
you're such a beautiful, like you say, inside and out. And
Thank you.
I am so happy that you were as excited as you were to be a part of the Yananomics podcast.
Yes,
And
so
I
excited.
do and my goal is to be able to pay everybody. So trust me, stay tuned because that is coming. We will be paying in, financially, but I'm happy to provide a platform and a space where we all
Beautiful
can grow
platform.
together. But
Yes,
no,
yes.
for real though,
That's why
I
I'm
want them
here.
checks to be nice, you know what I'm
All in
saying? So
here.
always, always, and we got to start somewhere. And I thank you for being on this journey with me. And
Yes,
I wish
yes.
you a wonderful night. Thank you to everybody that has joined the
Thank
Yananomics
you.
podcast tonight. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful night.
Inkwell.
Yes,
Take care.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Peace.
Peace.